All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're going to look past that trendy pop culture aesthetic you see everywhere to uncover the actual, profound, spiritual weight of Sak Yant tattoos. I mean, you've probably seen them on celebrities, mixed martial arts fighters, or backpackers wandering through Southeast Asia. But there is an incredibly deep, ancient tradition here that goes way, way beyond skin-deep aesthetics. The contrast is actually kind of wild when you think about it. You're looking at a highly guarded, ancient Khmer spell just casually resting on the shoulder of a Hollywood actor or a modern tourist. So today, we're focusing squarely on the spiritual significance of these sacred designs, and we'll explore exactly how they bridge this fascinating gap between ancient animist beliefs, Theravada Buddhism, and the modern world.
So we really have to start by asking ourselves what actually transforms a tattoo from just, mere fashion into a living, breathing, magical entity. In Western culture, a tattoo's meaning is highly subjective, right? It's usually whatever the wearer decides it is. A rose might symbolize your beloved grandmother, or hey, it might just be a cool design you picked off the wall on a Saturday night. But in the tradition of the Sak Yant, the meaning and the power are entirely independent of your personal fashion sense or subjective interpretation. The magic is embedded within a super rigid ancient system of rules, lineage, and spiritual authority. You don't get to decide what the magic means, you submit to it. And this quote brilliantly illustrates the core philosophy. It's from Ajarn Kanpai. He's the renowned master who actually introduced this art to the global stage back in 2003, when he famously tattooed Angelina Jolie. He emphasizes that without sincere faith and respect for the tradition, a Sak Yant is completely stripped of its power. It is absolutely not an automatic force field. It's the intention, the unwavering faith, and the spiritual framework that actually activates the magic. Without that framework, the most beautifully executed geometric design is literally nothing more than ink resting harmlessly in your skin. Okay, let's move into our first section. Section 1, Beyond the Ink, the Mechanics of Magic. To truly understand these mechanics, we have to look at the language itself. So the crucial point is that a Sak Yant is a sacred geometric design that physically taps ancient blessings right into the body. The word sak literally means to tap or to tattoo, referring to the traditional method using a long bamboo stick or steel spike. And yant comes from the Sanskrit word yantra, meaning sacred geometry. When you undergo this process, you aren't just getting a drawing, you're receiving a physical manifestation of a spiritual shield. The rhythmic tapping of that needle is literally meant to drive the spiritual protection deep, deep into your physical being. And the roots of this practice go incredibly deep. Originating over 1,000 years ago, during the absolute height of the Khmer Empire. These designs were initially used to provide spiritual protection for warriors facing brutal hand-to-hand combat. But they weren't always etched onto human skin. Originally, these intricate spells were drawn on cloth yantras, kind of like a red cloth amulet. Warriors would actually wear a sue yant, which is a specialized protective shirt inscribed with these geometries, straight into battle, firmly believing the magic would make them invulnerable to enemy arrows and swords. Eventually, over centuries, just to ensure that protection could never be lost or stolen on the battlefield, this powerful spiritual armor transitioned directly onto the flesh. Which brings us to section 2, the spiritual custodians. Who holds the power? You see, you can't just walk into a random shopping mall to get this magic. You absolutely need a spiritual custodian. Both monks and Ajarns serve as these crucial intermediaries, utilizing years of deep meditation and chanting to channel divine power into the wearer. Monks perform these rituals within the strict confines of the Buddhist temple, adhering to 227 rigid monastic precepts. Ajarns, on the other hand, are highly respected masters, often former monks themselves actually, who have achieved a profound level of mastery over the magical arts, known as Wicca. Because they operate outside the monastic order, Ajarns just have a bit more flexibility to innovate with designs and rituals, often forming lifelong spiritual bonds with their disciples in specialized studios called samnats. So to get an authentic Sak Yant, it's not a standard commercial transaction at all. It's an intense 3-step ritual that demands a practicing holy man. First, you have to present an opening offering of respect to the master, usually flowers, incense, a candle, and a small donation placed on a tray. Second, the master engages with you, sometimes even reading your energy or discussing your life's challenges to select or modify a magical text that perfectly matches your intentions. Finally, after the physical tattooing is done, the most important step happens. The master performs a magical blessing. They chant these rapid, ancient mantras and literally blow onto the fresh ink to physically breathe life into the design, charging it with spiritual energy. Now, this begs a really common question. Can standard commercial tattoo studios replicate this magic? Well,
While a modern studio in London or LA might offer highly hygienic, perfectly straight, machine-made replicas of these designs, purists argue that without the traditional religious context, the offering, and most importantly, the spiritual authority of that blessing, you're only getting a meaningless copy. The sterile hum of a tattoo gun just cannot replace the chanted lineage of a master. An artist beautifully copying the geometric lines simply can't channel the divine power required to elevate that ink into a living, protective talisman. Let's move to the actual designs. Section 3, Decoding the Master Yants, the Big Three. Specific spiritual blessings are mapped onto the body through foundational designs known as the Master Yants, and these cover the vast majority of human desires and protections. First up is the Hah Taew, or 5 lines. This design is incredibly popular for first-timers because its universal powers are just so comprehensive. Traditionally given to warriors, each of the 5 lines carries a distinct, powerful magical spell. The first clears negative energy and protects your home. The second reverses bad astrological constellations. The third protects against black magic. The fourth ensures future success and good luck. And the fifth grants sheer charisma and attraction. Not a bad deal, right? Next is the Gao Yord, representing the mythological Mount Meru, which is considered the center of the universe in Buddhist cosmology. It serves as this powerful spiritual reminder to live a good life while offering supreme protection. Known as the Yant Crew or Master Yant, it features 9 distinct spires symbolizing 9 Buddhas, each granting special powers. Because it's the foundational Yant in a lot of lineages, it's almost always placed at the very base of the neck, sitting highest on the body. It is specifically sought after by folks looking to block black magic, avert fatal accidents, and ward off evil spirits. Finally, we have the Paed Tidt, an intricately beautiful geometric design that literally calls upon the gods to protect the wearer from every possible point on the compass. It incorporates 8 representations of the Buddha and 8 directional mantras written in perfectly formed concentric circles. Back in ancient times, travelers and warriors traversing dangerous jungles desperately needed protection from every angle. And today, well, in a world where chaos, danger, or sudden bad luck can strike from absolutely anywhere, the Paed Tidt acts as an all-encompassing 360-degree spiritual shield for the modern person just trying to navigate the complexities of life. All right, section 4, the sacred language, reading the magic. So what exactly are those mysterious letters woven into the geometry of the tattoos? These aren't modern Thai or Cambodian words. Actually, scratch that, a person on the street wouldn't be able to read a single letter of this. They are ancient, coded prayers that take masters years, sometimes decades, to fully learn and memorize. We're talking about highly guarded liturgical languages like ancient Pali, the sacred Khom script from the Khmer Empire, and the Lana language of northern Thailand. They are essentially dead languages kept alive purely for magical purposes. They aren't meant to be read like a book. They function as magical codes, carrying specific frequencies of protection, luck, and spiritual guidance. But it isn't just the text. The structural shapes themselves map out a profound spiritual journey. The zigzag shape known as the unalome, for example, brilliantly illustrates shedding human desires to walk a direct, unwavering path to nirvana. When you look at it, the messy, tightly wound spiral at the bottom represents the crown of the Buddha's head, but it also represents our chaotic minds and worldly distractions. As the line moves up and zigzags, it shows the trials and tribulations of life. But finally, as it straightens out at the very top, it symbolizes the wearer shedding those earthly fetters and finding a direct, perfect path to enlightenment. Which brings us to the catch. Section 5, the price of protection, the rules. So, the crucial point here is that acquiring this magical protection comes with a lifelong commitment. You don't just walk out of the temple and live however you want. A Sak Yant is a living entity, and its embedded magical power relies entirely on the quality of the wearer's daily thoughts and actions to remain charged. It is definitely not a passive talisman that works while you behave terribly or selfishly. Think of it like a giant battery that slowly drains every single time you act with malice. The magic is essentially fueled by your own personal morality and your active participation in living a righteous life. To maintain the tattoo's power in everyday life, you have to adhere strictly to core behavioral rules, which are rooted directly in the 5 precepts of Buddhism. Simply put, you must not kill, you must not steal, you must not engage in sexual misconduct, you must not lie, and you must not lose your mindfulness to intoxication. This means speaking with kindness, acting with complete integrity, and keeping a clear head. Now, different masters might add specific rules based on their unique lineage, like, not walking under a banana tree or not disrespecting your parents, but these 5 core tenets of a compassionate life are absolute across the board. Ultimately, if you do not honor these rules and act with compassion, the magic simply fades away, leaving behind nothing more than ink on skin. The Sak Yant essentially acts as a permanent physical accountability partner. Every time you catch a glimpse of it in the mirror or feel it resting on your back, it serves as a relentless reminder of your commitment to walk a righteous path. It holds you to a higher standard, demanding that you literally earn its protection day in and day out. So before you ever consider sitting down for that bamboo needle, you have to ask yourself a very serious question. Are you truly ready to carry the ethical weight of the magic? It's a breathtaking, profound tradition, but the spiritual significance of a Sak Yant is ultimately a mirror, reflecting the character and the discipline of the person wearing it. So I leave you with this. If you got one, could you live up to the daily rules required to keep its ancient magic alive? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember to always keep questioning what lies beneath the surface of the things we see every day. Catch you next time.